This is Cyclones 101. I'm Tom Crochelle. It's hard to believe that it's been 60 years since Iowa State scored one of its greatest men's basketball victories. The Cyclones, led by All-American guard Gary Thompson, played host to number 1 Kansas on January 14, 1957. The Jayhawks boasted All-America 7'1" center Wilt Chamberlain, no doubt one of the greatest players in collegiate and NBA history. More than 8,500 fans jammed the Armory, including a young Johnny Orr who was coaching at Dubuque High School. And it was cold.
How cold was it?
17 degrees below zero. That's the temperature. In the words of Coach Orr, "We didn't have wind chill back then, Coach." The frigid weather did not deter the fans. The Armory rocked. The students would stomp on the bleachers until the light fixtures would become detached and crash to the floor.
Well, the Armory was a great place to play, and you talk about Hilton Magic. Well, there was Armory Magic back in those days, and everybody would tell you, and I'm not trying to put ourselves up with the current Hilton Magic, I'm just telling you how it is, because our fans are great. The fans sat right down next to the court, portable bleachers, so they're only 5 or 6 feet. Players would go falling into them, you know, if they run out of chasing the ball out of bounds. And so the crowd, what we had, when we got going and winning, then we filled it up. And it was terrific. And the last year, particularly with the steel bleachers, they would stomp those bleachers. And I think most of the coaches, and you probably heard this way back, would say it was one of the toughest places to play coming in because of the surroundings and the closeness of the crowd.
Iowa State was in its 3rd year under head coach Bill Stranagan. The Cyclones had gone 18-5 the previous season, but Thompson and his teammates would come face-to-face with Chamberlain and the Jayhawks before the game even started.
We had game night. We dressed in the state gym. Both teams did. And then we loaded up on a city bus, and they would bus us over to the Armory. We bused together on the same bus. And we'd have to wear parkas because of the cold weather. And we'd have the football parkas that we'd wear over to the Armory. We'd go out to warm up, and the floor was laid over a dirt floor at that time, portable floor. The bleachers were all portable in the Armory. And when you'd start to warm up, of course, those boards would go up and down and kind of suck up that dirt. When we'd go in after warming up, you'd have to wash your hands up because your hands would be dirty from the dirt.
The day after Christmas, the Cyclones had held Chamberlain, who was averaging 30 points per game for the 12-0 Jayhawks, to just 12 points as KU edged the Iowa Staters 58-57 in the Big 12 Holiday Tournament in Kansas City. It was Chamberlain's lowest point total in high school or college to that time. That performance gave Cyclone fans hope for a win just 19 days later. It was the most anticipated game Iowa State had ever played in Ames. The contest was even televised in Central Iowa by WOI-TV. Fans also tuned in on WOI radio across the state. Remember, you couldn't watch this on your smartphone. First, you were lucky if your dorm had one phone on your floor. And this was back when each dorm or Greek residence had but one small screen black and white TV. They even had a special magnifying glass for the TV screen if you needed it. Iowa State assistant basketball coach Bob Lamson had a new plan for Kansas.
When they came back to Ames, Bob Lamson, the assistant coach, Bill said because he had a dream defense. We're going to drop the forwards back in front of Wilt and the center behind, whichever side of the floor he's on. And the 2 guards will zone, which was Lyle Fromm and myself, and we will chase the 3 guys out front. And that's the way we defended them there. And then we decided, Bill said, we're going to slow down and we're going to take every good shot we can get and play a possession game.
At halftime, the Jayhawks clung to a 19-17 lead. With 7 seconds left in the game, Chamberlain went to the free throw line with his team trailing by 2.
We're 2 up with 15 or 20 seconds to go, and we foul Wilt. And there's no way Wilt's going to make 2 free throws, and I'm hauling all our guys in the line. Block off your man, block off your men. I'll be darned if he doesn't make 2 free throws. So then Stranagan has a timeout and sets up a play for me to go down and under and come back out and get a shot. Well, they knew I was going to get the shot, and Wilt favored off and to my side and let Metzger, our center, Don Metzger, go, and Lyle Fromm brought the ball down, and I'm not open, so he kicks it over to Metzger, and Metzger puts it up. So I was on the opposite side of the free throw line from Don, so I couldn't see anything.
had done his best to hound Chamberlain all night. Now, time stood still as his 15-footer hung in the air. In this picture, Chamberlain worked his way through a mad mob of overjoyed Iowa State students, some giving shoulder rides to Cyclone players and coaches. Both Wilt and Kansas head coach Dick Harp visited the Iowa State locker room to personally congratulate the Iowa Staters. A crowd of 300 students combined forces in the Memorial Union Commons, briefly blocking Lincoln Way before marching to the Knoll to see President James Hilton chanting, "No school tomorrow." Hilton, thrilled as he was about the win, wasn't buying it. It was back to class Tuesday morning. It would be 59 years in 4 days before Iowa State beat the nation's top team again, an 82-77 win over number 1 Oklahoma last season. That win is fresh in everyone's mind. In Cyclones 101, we endeavor to ensure that we appreciate the achievement of Gary Thompson, Chuck Vogt, John Crawford, Gary Davis, Don Metzger, John Krocheski, and Lyle Fromm and their teammates and coaches by never forgetting what happened that cold, cold night before a raucous crowd in the Iowa State Armory. Class dismissed.